What's up, my financial friends? It's Sam. Today I'm going to talk you through how I paid $51,000 off in student loans in the last year and a half. So, about a year and a half ago, I graduated, but before that, going into my final semester in college, I was still thinking that I was going to be going to medical school. So, I was still planning on being paid a couple $100,000 a year, but then, kind of always in the back of my head, I knew that I didn't really want to do that. It was kind of always back there, but I didn't want to come to terms with it because I liked the difficulty of being pre-medical, and I did well in my classes, and I could compare myself to others, and I like that competition. But it wasn't that I actually liked the material; it was just that I liked having to be tested all the time. So I came to terms with it the last day before my senior final semester started that I didn't want to go to med school. Now, that being said, I had been studying for 3.5 years and I was a kinesiology major that also took pre med courses. So, in kinesiology, you don't have a lot of options unless you go to get your master's degree or a doctorate. But I didn't want to do that. So what I did was I started to look around for other options, and really I had kind of been burned out in that field, so I didn't want to do really anything related to that. So I started looking into finance, figuring that if I wasn't going to make a couple $100,000 a year, I at least needed to know how to spend the money that I did have. So from then, I started to read a couple books on personal finance, and I really got into it after I read Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game, because he set out in that book a way to gain a large amount of wealth, and it seemed very realistic to me. And it kind of put in my head that, okay, maybe I don't need to find the job that I absolutely love um, to be happy in life. Maybe I could just kind of accelerate my wealth building and then figure out what I want to do after I was completely financially independent. So that being said, that seemed like a good idea, but I also had at that time when I graduated $115,000 in student loans. So the interest rates were about 6.25% averaged between all the loans. So I had to pay about $7,000 in interest or a little bit more over those loans every year. So, and that's in addition to the $115,000 I had to pay still. So it was kind of a huge hurdle, and I had no idea how I was going to make a decent living either. So I was talking to my parents about this and talking to my sister, and she suggested that I apply for a job position at a local bank that she had worked at. Now, at first, I didn't think that that was a good idea, but when I started to look into it more, it paid pretty well, decently at the time, but more importantly, I realized that I do like finance, so that might be a good space to get into so that I can go and apply for other jobs in finance. So after applying, I got the job about a month later after I applied, and right away they raised the minimum that we were going to get paid from about $16.30 up to $17.30 up to $18. And I was coming in and I was already planning on getting paid more than my sister was getting paid at the time, and she had worked there for 2 years. Of course, she got bumped up eventually too, but I started off at $18 an hour. That being said, that is nice, but that's still about a third of what I owed for student loans. Actually, less than a third of what I owed annually, because that's about $36,000 a year. But I moved back home. I started at the job. They have nice benefits. I get a matching 401k contribution. I get good health insurance. I actually get a pension plan, a small pension plan that I didn't know about until a few months ago. But I just continuously worked, and I tried to get better and better at my job to the point now where I make about $6,000 or $7,000 more each year than I did even just a year ago. So I've been working on that. But once I moved back home, I also had more time to work on my other business. So my dad and I started to do personal training for different high school athletic teams when I was in college. And he mostly ran it when I was gone at college, but when I would come back, I would help him out. And I became more of a partner and less of just another, instead of just going to certain workouts. When I suggested that we get a website and that we set up social media pages, so I took care of all that. I designed it. I actually coded it at first, and then I figured there's an easier way. So I set up the web pages, the social media pages, the email. I take care of most of the accounting, giving out checks to partners and stuff like that. Um, so I do a lot of that while he still does a lot of the training because I work weird hours at the bank. So I go to maybe about 50% of the workouts, and he goes to all the workouts. So that has been something that I've been working on probably 10 to 15 hours a week, honestly, since I've been home. And a lot of the time we might have to drive 45 minutes and then drive 45 minutes back from wherever we're working out at. But we actually go to different venues, so we don't have to be the ones that own the building or anything like that. So there's no overhead, no risk really for us. So I've been working at that. That pays maybe $500 a month extra on top of what I already get paid from my job. I've also found other jobs throughout the last year and a half. So I think that it's an important thing to be willing to take extra work, and make sure that people that you're close to in your lives know that you're willing to do a little extra for some extra money. Now, what I go for is anything that I get paid, either what I get paid at work per hour or more. So I'm not going to pick a job up that pays me $10 an hour on one of my off days. But if it pays me $20 or $30 an hour, I'll probably do that because that's similar to what I get paid at work, especially if it's under the table. Not condoning that, but just saying that that makes sense for me. So I picked up extra jobs that includes just manual labor for my parents' business, painting on the side. Um, a big thing that I'm doing now and I've been doing in the last 6 months is bank account opening and getting bonuses. There are a couple really good websites. Maybe I'll make a video about those sometime. And I actually made the websites tell you what bank account bonuses are going on and what you have to do to complete them. And SoFi Money actually had a bank account referral program just last week, and I made $1,000 on it. And all I had to do was put in $100, and it's already back to me. So now I'm just getting some of the bonus money over the next week. I've already gotten some of it now, but I got $100 per person I signed up. So that's a good way to make some extra money, especially since I live home right now and I don't have many expenses. My bonuses from bank accounts are gonna pay for my total year spending at home, and that includes food, gas, expenses, everything like that, that I have to pay for now. I'm very lucky that my parents pay for most of it. They pay for my car and my car insurance. I still have to pay for gas, but then they also buy food here. So really, the only food I have to pay for is if I go out to eat with friends or my girlfriend or something. But looking for extra work, I think, is really important, and making sure people know that you're looking for extra work. And I think a lot of the time we try, or at least I personally am kind of selfish, and I think that's not going to be worth it to go work 3 hours at $20 an hour or $15 an hour. But a lot of the time it expands. So, like with some of the painting from my parents over the summer, I thought it was going to be a 1 day job, or maybe I make $100, but it ended up being I was painting half their offices. So I got paid maybe $600, $700, and all I had to do was go there and paint for a little bit and listen to music. So I mean, I really couldn't complain because it was a good job for me to do on a day off that I would have during the week. Um, so putting that out there that you're willing to do extra work, looking for ways to make extra money is huge because there's so much information on the internet about how to make extra money, how to be safe with your money. A lot of really good personal finance blogs, and I made a video on the best personal finance resources previously, and you should go back and take a look at that. But just looking for extra ways to make money. So over the last year and a half, I've been able to pay off $51,000 of loans, and it's going to jump here in a little bit because I've been saving up for something else. But it's going to jump up to maybe about 55,000 here in the next week or two. But that's not even putting all my money towards student loans. It's not like I'm pushing everything that I get in towards student loans. I've been saving for my 401k through my Roth IRA, through a couple different plans too. So even though I paid off $51,000 worth of student loans, my net worth has increased by about 70,000 from investing on the side, while also paying off student loans. So, sorry, 60,000, not 70,000. But I don't believe that you should put all your money towards loans if there are other things like matching 401k contributions on the table, because at least for me, I'm paying off student loans there at 5.5% now. So that's about the range where it might make more sense to invest instead. So I'm kind of splitting the difference right now. So I paid off 51,000, but I'm not going to continue paying off at the rate that I'm paying off now, because I might be able to make more money in the stock market. So I'm going to maybe invest half and then put half towards student loans. But I've been able to pay almost my complete salary, probably more than my complete salary, towards my student loans in the last year and a half. And I'm going to continue to work on those over the next year to year and a half before I move out and have to pay for my own stuff. But I really want to get those student loans down. That being said, I still have a long way to go. I still have about 70,000 left in student loans. They're at lower interest rates though. So like I said, I'm going to be splitting the difference between investing and paying off loans from here on out. And I want to be at a positive net worth before I move out of my house. And I think that I can, or my parents' house, and I think I can be at positive net worth by the end of next year. So maybe about 14 months away. And by then I'll also be getting paid more, I assume too, at my day job, during my side hustle, and then a couple other different things I'm working on too. My investments will be paying off more money, and then I eventually want to get a house that I can also rent part out of, so that way I have lower expenses. So that is kind of how I have started off my journey of paying my student loans. It's really scary. At first, I was really worried. I dreaded my loans. Now it's not as big a deal because it's only, I don't know, $500 a month that I am required to pay. That being said, it's over a long time period. But at first it was $800, and that was over a 25-year time period. It was about $20 a day of interest that I was accruing. So now it's down to less than $10, and that's a big relief. One of the things that is important too, I refinanced my student loans. Once I got good credit and my income increased, and then my loans decreased, so that way I didn't have to refinance $100,000 when I was making $35,000, because no one will let you do that. Once I had $40,000 that I want to refinance, and I was making more than $40,000, I refinanced, got a bonus for doing it, and then lowered my interest rate too. So that's another great way to go about that. That being said, you do have to cut back. I also sold a bunch of stuff when I came home from school too, because there's stuff from my childhood, like old game systems, a coin collection, stuff that was great, and I appreciated what it was, but really it was kind of not weighing me down, but I could get so much more value, even just emotionally, if I got rid of it and then used it to pay off my student loans. I can always buy that stuff back later if I want to, but at this point, I'd rather have the extra help paying off my student loans. So that wasn't $10,000 or anything that I got from those things, but when you start selling some of that stuff off, it does make a difference. That being said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. Just know you're not alone in this paying off journey. The stress, the anxiety is all normal. It can feel like a really long grind sometimes, but then you slowly start to feel better and better until you start getting excited about investing and going forward in the future. And that's kind of the point that I'm at now, where I'm getting excited and I'm looking at different opportunities and options for what to do once I've paid off a little bit more of my student loans. So please like the video. Please watch some more. I plan on making some more videos on this as I pay off more loans and as I invest more. I appreciate it. See you in the next one.